I think we'll just like take a second here.
No chance to say no.
Live. It's been a little while since I've done one of these things, man. They've tweaked me out. Definitely got nervous. So yeah, I think we'll just like take a second here, and it's like when you do these fucking things, most of the people that see them, they end up seeing it when it's like recorded. So I try to just say things and talk, because when people just sit there and like look at the fucking camera for the first 30 seconds, the recording watchers are just like, fuck this dickhead, and they bail. At least that's me.
Hey, Stevie.
Hey, what's up, y'all? So we are gonna mostly just like try to answer questions and shit if you have questions, but I have a few things I want to talk about.
Oh, are you gonna paste the link?
Oh yeah. How do I do that here?
So,
No. How do I comment on my shit?
things changed since the last time we did this.
Maybe it's because it's on this fucking thing. Questions.
I don't know if we're gonna be able to do it.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, whatever. It doesn't matter that much. So we're releasing a thing called Money Moves today, which is something I've been working on for a long time. That was supposed to be not as big as it is, but it was supposed to be about just how to make and sell an online product. And then when I started making the shit for it, I started realizing that part of it is only works when all of the stuff that was supposed to come before it happened. So then I started adding things that needed to come before that part, and then that.
Hey, Hope.
What's up, Hope? And that it slowly the scope of the whole thing creeped out, and now it's this big massive thing. But finally, it's like finished, and I'm releasing it today. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that shit, and also about a couple of the things that have been just working well for me, and just what I'm seeing people talking about in terms of like social media and getting shit done, which is what Money Moves is about. Cassidy's here. She was unsure about being on this because she didn't want to feel like she was just sitting in the background not saying shit.
This one's different. Like, Money Moves is a little bit different. I've still, of course, helped with it and stuff, but it's not like the other trainings we've done where I'm like in all the videos and in all the trainings, so it feels weird to be
it was the way it started. Like, it ended up being just a lot of it is just, well, basically what it is like everything that I do. It's like the most up-to-date version of all of the approaches and things that I think about when I do all the social media shit, when I make stuff.
Wait, and really quick, because you said this, but like you didn't say the extent of it. Originally, it was supposed to be like a live one-time like live thing, and then we were gonna send out the recording. This dude made like an entire fucking like.
Well, a lot of
it's a lot more than one little video now.
Well, a lot of it is like
carried away.
It's because I'm lazy in a way. It resulted in me being lazy because when I was trying to make just the thing about how to make a product, it was fucking hard. It was hard to do it without all the other stuff having been done. So I ended up trying to like cover my own ass, and ended up being not like the opposite of that. It was a shitload of work. But anyways, it's fucking cool. And one of the big things in there, and if you guys have questions, by the way, hopefully we can see. We can, right?
Yeah.
We can see everything. But one of the things that I talk about a lot in Money Moves is conversations, and it's interesting to see people selling stuff or promoting stuff when no one's commenting on any of their shit. It's like a strange thing, and if you think about that, like the analogous version of that in real life, like walking into a place and just like fucking shouting about your wares and what you're selling, and like not even trying to talk to anyone, and no one responds. It's like fucking weird. So a big piece of this, and a big part of
just walk into a restaurant like, I'm selling a thing.
That's what it is, though.
And you, sir, should buy it from me.
But that kind of shit doesn't work. Now, like, conversations are important to like build connections with people. Obviously, we know that, but they're also important just because social media, Facebook and them, they like to see things that have conversations happening on them. So they end up getting better distribution because of the conversation. So there's a lot of benefit to it besides just the fact that you're a fucking dick if you're trying to sell shit and no one's commenting on your stuff. So.
Well, and then the other side of that is like when a lot of people are commenting on your stuff and you're not selling anything.
Totally. Yeah, I made a back-to-back series of posts once. I said, if no one's commenting on your shit, why are you trying to sell shit to them? And if people are commenting on your shit, why aren't you trying to sell stuff to them? Or why aren't you? It's not even trying to sell stuff to them at that point, because all you'd be doing is just answering the questions that they have with whatever solution is best for them at that point. It's not even about trying to sell them some shit. Mm-hmm. Like the whole thing is, you know, for me, I don't like to sell. No one likes to fucking sell anything. You know, it's like that's like feels shitty to sell stuff. So like, it's cooler just to recommend stuff, like just to know so much about the people who are paying attention to you that you can help them along the way for free, and then eventually there will be something that you can't really do for free because it takes time or whatever. So you've got to make that thing. But yeah, I think that's like I totally lost my train of thought, but that is it doesn't matter. So that's the key to the whole fucking thing, and it all happens really like through conversations, and this is a big thing in money moves and comments. Comments are important, and I talk a lot about engagement and the importance of comments. But one of the things that's really important, especially if you're dealing with a small or audience sort of thing, like if you're trying to build relationships with the people who are actually watching, it's important that the comments are more than just emojis or whatever the fuck it is, because it's what comes from those conversations that leads you to the ideas about the things you should be making and what you should be doing, but it also shows other people who see the comments that conversation, which ends up being more interesting than the post itself a lot of the times, which should be the goal. That's like my thing. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen often, but my goal is to always try to make the comments more interesting to read than the post.
Yeah, I think a lot of people underestimate how many people read the comments. Like, I notice sometimes if I like make a post and then I like leave a comment on my own post to like round it out or finish it up, like the number of people who like that comment that I made always reminds me like, oh shit, yeah, people read the comments. And I think that there's a lot that can happen in like a comment section that's even more valuable than the post.
Oh, for sure.
And the space gets wasted like all the time.
Yeah.
I do it too, but
yeah, and it's hard. It takes time. It takes time to reply to comments. But I think, what's up, Peter? But I think a lot of people that you sort of think that like when you reply to someone, say that like it's only them that's going to see that, and that's like not the fucking case. It's the way more other people see it than not. I look at it like reviews on Amazon products and shit. Like when I go to an Amazon page, I don't even read any of the copy from the maker of the thing. I go down to the reviews first. Social media, when I look at new pages, I look at their comments first. I look at a few posts to see like what's going on, if there's anything going on here at all. I don't really care what they say.
Yeah, and I think because of that awareness, like when I'm responding to people in my comment section, like of course I'm responding to that person because that's the person who I'm having the conversation with. But there's always this awareness that like people are seeing this comment.
Oh,
so sometimes
totally.
I'll fill it out more with like if there was information I left out of the post or like additional information I want people to see, I will like include it in my responses to people because I know like everyone who's looking at that post is going to read it, not just that one person I'm talking to.
Totally. Yeah, there's a huge section in Money Moves all about that idea, like how to use comments to both like stretch the idea, to add nuance to whatever, to once they open a door, like when someone comes in with a comment that like opens the door for you, you should step through the door and further that conversation.
Totally. This is cool. I like to answer objections in the comments, but like you say, you can't do that unless your post makes them object.
Yeah, that's huge. That's like a big part of this thing is like, stories work. So stories are everything, really. So stories, even stories that don't necessarily make people object can create conversations. But one of the best ways to make conversations happen on social media is to do things that somehow divide people on some sort of position. I talk about that shit all the time, but it's huge. And really, I think it doesn't have to be some crazy political division. It's just like a way that you think about an approach, or the way that you believe the things in your industry should be done, and the way that they're not. Like, there's all sorts of things that you can take a stance on it, and it's important that you do.
Yeah, this like exact thing happened on the post I made yesterday, where it wasn't like political, or it wasn't even like a crazy divisive opinion, but it was just like a pretty firm like black and white opinion about something that I believe about the massage industry, and someone like came in and objected to it, and it started just like a cool conversation in the comments. It wasn't like nasty or negative or anything. It was just like it added to the post.
Well, yeah, you know, and I think a lot of that, like, we sometimes when I talk about things like that, about like creating, you know, being polarizing and being repulsive to a segment of the population, really.
Are we back?
Yeah, I think we're back.
Okay.
So when we're talking about being polarizing or divisive, there's like the tendency is to think about just the bad side of it, like the divisive side of it, the side that like we're saying these people aren't right for this thing or whatever. But there's the other side of it too, which is the side where people now that are with you more because you took the position that you did. So there's a lot to that. It's not just bad. I say it in like the weird way because I just like talking like that, and I think it's funny and interesting, and it makes people fucking freak out and shit. But there's like, it's not that. It's like, it's the same thing as saying find your tribe or whatever fucking hippie bullshit. You know? It's just the other side.
It's a more vulgar way to say it. By the way, I'm upset that we can't. Are you sure that we can't if we press that?
Yeah, it's like,
leave a comment. Oh,
yeah.
yes.
Good call. Boom.
Cool.
And I can pin
and
that
then
thing.
pin that. So that's where you can see all the stuff about this new thing that we launched today.
Yeah, and actually the page I'm not even totally confident with right now, so I might shut it down after this.
Okay, real quick. I've been trying, I didn't mean to cut you off, I kind of did. I've been trying to launch this thing for
a couple months
and another thing as well. And it's been like not done. Like he didn't actually record the things, but it's been done. Like the information has been laid out. And every single time I'm like, we should record it and we should launch it and we should like wrap it up. He's like, no. There's so many finishing touches. And so that's why everything that we launch takes a longer time, including the sales page. He thinks there's more finishing touches that need to happen. And I was like, fine, but we're going to put it out and then we'll fix the shit later.
We're supposed to listen to you nerds who can't. Dude, you know what's fucked up?
That's a really good point.
Yeah, true. Or you should listen to people who can make shit happen, even though
you should never listen to it.
But yeah, I'm using the iPad here, and my phone is actually recording us from another angle, and I want to see if I can cut some weird shit together.
Yeah, we're doing some really fancy technical stuff right now.
It's not fancy though. It's not fancy.
Give us a break.
I'm using a phone to record this, and I want to see if I can make it look fancy, just to fucking school you motherfuckers.
I just mean we can be excused from the pin issue.
Well, you know what? Here's my yes. Don't. That's exactly what you're talking about. Don't worry about finishing. I got a fucking response. Here's the thing. When you approach marketing this way and you talk about a lot and you're always present and talking about what's going on and what you're working on and like all this shit. When you're continuing to add finishing touches or something, as long as you're like. I'm not excusing fucking being a perfectionist, but like I'm just saying there's like if you are going to be that way, you may as well get as much fucking value out of it as possible. So by talking about it, you can sort of create a more interest and more of a story before you release the thing. But if you operate this way in a fucking silo in silence, then you don't get that response.
You know, I'm just giving you a hard time, right? Though it was necessary. All the finishing.
It's just better.
The finishing touches were necessary, but I have to make fun of him because.
Well, basically, what I didn't want to happen, I'm telling you, I'm fucking lazy.
Should have been out months ago.
I didn't want to do that how to make and sell an online product thing without the rest, because I didn't want to be answering everyone's fucking emails like about why this or that didn't work. It's like, well, because you didn't do any of the stuff before it, so I don't want to do that. So I figured, fuck it. Here's everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, it's the truth.
Makes sense.
If anyone has any questions, you can fucking ask questions. What else did I want to talk about on this shit? Yeah, I just made a post today about how you can charge more for shit that's homemade.
Hey, Peter.
Or like look,
Monica.
like I don't mean shitty when I say homemade. I mean like I feel like even like the shittiest phone now has like a good enough camera to get a good enough shot to where you can make something that looks pretty cool. And if you can get a cheap microphone, so like there's a couple of basic things that don't cost money that just kind of are like a foundation. But the thing about this is, so like there's a lot of yoga teachers, right? So yoga teachers want to make yoga videos, and then a lot of people don't do it because they're worried that they can't produce one that's as good as like the other ones that are available. So or or not just the quality of the videos, but of the teachers and their reputations and their like Instagram followers and all this shit, right? So those companies that make those videos, they have lots of money to spend on big budget production and everything, and they do. And then they sell access to those videos by the fucking hundreds for very cheap, for like $15 a month or something. You can join Allo Moves or whatever the fuck it is, but you can join that shit and get that. You can sign up and immediately get like fucking 1,000 videos from people who are like world renowned in well lit studios and all kinds of shit. So now if you try to mimic that and you like try to fake it, and you fake it like that you're that, and you spend all the money that you could have spent on way more other things that could have helped more, and you spend it on that. When people watch the video, it just like falls flat, bro. It's like you look, it's just like, it's like a fucking, it doesn't match up, and it's like weird. And if you charge a lot for it, they're like, well, why did I pay this much when I could have joined this one for this much? It just gives them too many things to compare it to. But when you don't do that and you do it yourself, as long as you like pour your fucking shit into it and you make the thing for the people who are paying attention to you, and the conversations that you're having with those people are, it's not just like you're selling to some fucking cold person off the street. It's like you've been talking to these people for a long time. So it's like when they see the product, like even though it's not the fucking the Allo Yoga well lit video, but it's like they can tell that you poured a lot into it and it speaks to them. That shit works. And even if you did have those conversations before and you somehow had the money to afford it, like say you did good marketing and then you made the product pretty, it still gives them more things to be like, this looks like that, but fucking I only got one of them.
Yeah, and I think just kind of the bottom line is like a pretty product isn't necessarily a better product. I mean, I remember buying this like meditation course one time. I don't remember what prompted me to buy it. The marketing must have been pretty good, but the course was awful. It was like super polished and clean, and like it was good. It was good quality. The video and the audio quality was really good, but I didn't get anything out of it. And then I recently purchased someone who pays it. I don't think I know. It's someone who pays attention to us. I purchased like their meditation course, and it was quote unquote shitty, but not really. I mean, like the video quality wasn't amazing and the audio quality wasn't amazing, but it was a really good product and I like use it. So I don't think it's just not true that like a prettier product is a better product.
Well, I can give you really salient. I talk about this in Money Moves too. This happened. So when I first started studying marketing, I went to a seminar with this guy. And he was on the stage and he held up two books. He held up a book that was like a fucking, I don't have one, but like a normal book that you would buy from like Barnes and Noble, like a book, like a whatever, any normal book. And then he held up this like shitty binder, this like fat binder with like fucking a piece of paper in the front that said something on it. And he held these two books up and he's like, how much do you think these two books cost? And then everyone fucking guessed or whatever. And then he held up the nice book from Barnes and Noble and he's like, this book costs $15. How much do you think this book costs? And then the book cost $1,000. This fucking shitty binder with paper in it and like a piece of paper in the front. Like it was some sort of like a copywriting manual or something, like some sort of marketing information product. So the information in the binder was something that in the hands of someone who executes on marketing advice can make a lot of money. But like if that person had tried to fucking take that whatever was in that binder and make it look like that pretty book, it would be too hard for someone to justify spending that much money on the fucking book. It doesn't make sense why they would give someone $1,000 for a book that feels like a normal book. There's like a feel thing, like it's like a feel thing. It's not just whether or not how many pixels something has on the screen. There's like more to it than that, and a lot of it too is like that relationship when with someone that buys your thing is colored by everything that happened before it. So all of the stuff that happened leading up to it, social media conversations, email conversations, all this shit back and forth is part of what they eventually purchase. It's not just like this fucking standalone thing. So they're forgiving. They're more forgiving than you think they are. And actually, like, it's not even that they're forgiving flaws or mistakes in the video. It's actually that those things are fucking cool for them to watch. I talk a lot about the making of the video of my yoga class in Money Moves, like what I was doing and how it all works and shit. And I left if you and the video is actually included too. So if you watch it, it's all fucked up. Like it's super awkward and it's like weird as fuck. And it's like I knew that people would forgive me because I sort of have this like dickhead thing on social media, but it wasn't that. It's like that is what made it compelling. And I know sure as shit, if I made that fucking video and I made it pretty, which I could have pulled together, like I know enough people with good cameras and know how to do shit, like I could have done that. It wouldn't have done what I wanted it to do. It wouldn't have worked like it did. It wouldn't have like given a lot of teachers and people a way to see how, if this fucking guy can do this, I could do it too. But it also just wouldn't have been as cool. Like, anyway, yep.
Yeah, I think it's kind of off topic from that, but I think also if we're talking about like the amount our products can actually like impact people and help them, the compelling stuff always serves as like time markers in people's memories. I'm like having a hard time getting it across, but when I did that MailChimp challenge and I like hosted this free thing, all of the feedback that I got about the training videos were like tied into funny things that happened in the video. So it was never like, oh my God, Cass, I really loved when you taught me how to build a landing page. It was like, oh, it was so funny when your cat was scratching the couch and
Totally.
like blah, 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 right after you talked about the landing pages. Yep. Like people, it keeps them watching, and it makes like sitting around and just watching a perfect polished video of some scripted, like edited, version of what they're trying to say is so much more boring than watching a video of someone who like really cares about you and who's proved they care about you and who's a human and imperfect just like you and is like trying to teach you something. It's just way more interesting. Totally. It's easier to learn.
Yeah, and it's like little things like that. Like those are like little windows into your world, and they're ways for people to connect to you on weird levels. I have a cat too. My cat scratches my couch too. Like one of the things that like I wouldn't recommend fucking doing this shit now. Cool, man. Glad to hear that, by the way. And I owe you an email, dude. I want to talk to you. One of the things that like I don't recommend anymore is because it's fucking stupid. But people used to teach. It's actually like the way it was taught wasn't stupid, but like so. I don't even know if I want to talk about. I'm just gonna say it. So yeah, don't do this. Don't make talking videos when you're driving. But one of the things that people used to recommend in like the internet marketing space, Frank Kern specifically, is when he would make sales videos, and he wouldn't hold the camera. He had like a cameraman in his car with him, and he would drive and deliver a sales message. And then he talked about it later. He would like do marketing stuff and then talk about it later and teach people how to do stuff. So he would talk about how like in the car and the people being able to see like where you're at and like the houses and like what kind of location and all kinds of stuff, they had other things to connect to as you said what you wanted to say or as you pitched your thing. So yeah, so giving people little windows into flaws is a good thing to do for a lot of reasons. It's funny and cool. So
there was a question and we kind of just like missed it.
Oh, Hanan.
Not the one from Hanan. I don't think that was a question. Hi, Hanan. It was about being unorganized.
Oh, being organized. Yeah, I'm unorganized as fuck. Yeah, I don't have any advice about being organized. I'm unorganized as a motherfucker.
I do have advice about being unorganized because when I started, I am an organized person, and when I started like making random talking videos and constantly pushing my ideas out there and then building on top of those ideas, I did start feeling like unorganized. But it doesn't, I mean, that's just part of being a creative person. Like the more creative you become and the more you allow that to happen, the more, at least for me, like disorganization happens. But I think you just have to manage it, be aware that it's a thing, and check in with yourself. Like, what am I doing? What am I like? That's not good advice at all, actually. Well, I don't have advice for you.
Well, you know what? I think there's like something to this that I can speak about, though. Like organization of like, it's not something you actually do like super consciously, but I think organizing your ideas and marketing and things you do with social media, even if they're in buckets inside your head, is a way to sort of stay on top of things. I don't even know if I can take this very far. I talk about it a little bit in Money Moves. It's about like understanding what stories you have and having a way to organize those like inside of a document on your computer, but also just like thinking about it in this way and knowing, you know, what you want people to know about you. Because a lot of times with like, I'm totally just jumping ship on the organization question at this point.
Yeah, where are you going?
I'm going with stories.
Okay.
So like, because it's like social media and you want to get organized so you can fucking do more shit and make more money.
Okay.
It's a logical leap. So stories are important, and being organized so that you can Yeah, so you can categorize the stories. So exactly, and like the more you do this on paper or like on like a document, the better. But you also just start to understand how stories fit in different categories when you start to think about it this way. Because a key to being good at this stuff and to sort of being prolific and making a lot of shit is being fast. So like when you do things that help you be faster, the better that is, you know. I don't know if I got you anywhere with that, but I do think if there is one thing that that I would recommend organizing, and that I do actually do a pretty good job of organizing, is ideas for content, and I do that in like a few different ways. Like if it's a random talking, I have like notes in my phone where like if it's a random talking idea, I have like a random talking file. I also like, here's one thing that I've been doing that's helped me a lot. So I have a tendency to create a new note for like when I have some idea, I'll be walking somewhere, I'll be like, fucking new idea, which by the way, I had an idea right before this call. I'm going to finish my idea first though.
Very organized.
But I wrote it down and I'm going to do it. I'm going to do this with it. So like I have a note, a folder of notes in my app called Idea Ticklers. Tickler came from David Allen getting things done. Like when you want something, so like when you save something and you put something somewhere, it should be there for a fucking reason. And some things you don't really have a reason for, but you want to be reminded of it or whatever. So if it's not something that goes on a calendar, he was doing this shit back in the day with it was like fucking folders and like paper and there wasn't digital shit. But like he would have like a 30-day folder with like day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, and he would like take something that he wanted to be reminded of on day 28 and put it, and he called it a tickler file to like tickle his memory. So he would like tickle. So I have a tickler folder, and I make instead of making a new note every time because I lose them, I make a note with a date on the top. And I start a new one every few days, and then I put all the ideas in one file so that I see them more than because otherwise, if I just make a new note, I fucking lose them all the time. But yeah, that was my idea. I'm gonna do one more. If you have any questions, you can ask me questions. Otherwise, I thought of this.
Idea. Tickle.
The tickler file, man. And yeah, it's cute as fuck. I got another angle on this shit too. I bet it's gonna be a dope shot watching this shit. You know what I'm saying?
The tickle part is the best part of this whole lot.
Titus. That's
Idea,
funny shit.
Tickle.
Behind the scenes is the new. That's what I wanted to say. So that was the idea that I wanted to put in my tickler file before this thing started. That one, because we were talking about Cassidy didn't want to be in the video. She was like, I'm behind the scenes on this product anyways, and I was like, well, there's no fucking such thing as behind the scenes if you do this shit right. Like behind the scenes is like the new fucking center stage. You know what I'm saying? So like. That's pretty good right there.
Right,
as soon as I thought of it, I was like, tickler fucking file, because I was about to start doing this. So if you can think about it, it's weird. It's like fucking weird, high, like abstract idea. But like the backstage, the shit that happens backstage of a show is really fucking interesting to people who can't see it. So if you could show them, if you could like bring the audience on the other side of that shit and let them see the backstage stuff, and then the stage can turn. I don't know. I'm just stretching now.
Yeah, real quick before I lose my thought. Like, half of the content that, if you just, like, scroll through Ryan's Instagram ever, kind of mine too, but, like, he's better at it and more consistent than I am. But if you just, like, scroll through his posts, most of the ideas that he comes up with and that he projects out come from shit like that. Like conversations like that where we'll just be in the middle of a conversation just like that one where I'm like, I don't want to be in the video, I'm behind the scenes, and he's like, what the fuck do you mean, there's no such thing as behind the scenes? And then he's like, I have a great idea, and then he'll like run and like note it, and then later I'll see it pop up on his Instagram in this like different looking way. It'll be in like
in an awesome
picture
way.
Like he'll like sit
in
around
video
and think
with
about
fucking explosions.
Okay. Think about like how to get that idea across in a really cool way, and in Money Moves, like in How to Be the Most Interesting Motherfucker in the World. That's kind of what it's about. It's like how to start thinking in those terms and how to start like in your daily life, just when you're having a conversation with someone, like not missing those opportunities for content. But that's like what all of Ryan's content is. It's just from conversations or what's happening day to day, ideas that come of those things.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things, like sort of understanding organization of these things in your mind helps you see it. It just gives you like lenses to like be able to see stuff. Because like sometimes shit'll just like happen, and then you'll be like, oh yeah, that'd be fucking cool. Or you say something, or someone else says something, or something happens that makes you remember something from before. So there's like some backstory like shit. It's like paying attention. It's like a lot of it is like paying attention. It's like all these fucking yoga teachers, man. We're like, where's your attention, yo? I thought you were a fucking yoga person or something. How come you don't know? You should know. Actually, they do know. That's one of the reasons my shit works. My shit hits. Because it's like, you already fucking knew that. You just didn't like to think about it. I made you think about it. Just saying. Yep. Things have plateaued a bit here, too, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe. No, I mean, I get it, man. I fucking plateau all the time. I fucking plateau, then I dive off that bitch, crack my fucking head, hate myself, and then climb back up.
It's a good time.
Yeah, it's the process, man. It's process.
Should we wrap
Let him
this?
enjoy the process.
I think it's time to wrap this up.
Oh, yeah, you should grab moneymoves.com.
Grabmoneymoves.com.
How you like that shit? All the money moves ones we're taking. Make money moves, get money moves, fucking everyone, fucking Cardi B.
Even if you just go to that page to check out the copy that I wrote, I'm pretty proud of it.
Yeah, it's flashy, it's funny.
I'm pretty proud of that copy.
It's totally like super marketing copy.
It's really intense. It's great.
All right. Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for fucking hanging out. We'll do more of this shit.
Yeah.
The man, the myth, indeed. See, they got to compliment me when I'm walking off the stage.
Oh, man. We're going to wrap it now.
Wait. Yeah, they need
You're
to
just
meditate.
waiting for more compliments
Well,
to come in. What do you mean, wait? Okay, bye.
Waiting for encore calls.
Bye.
Later.
End.